Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. This is the Q&A or question and answer session for November 2021. So if you want to know my answers to some of your questions, please stay tuned. So I'm really excited to share your questions for the month of November. If you have more questions to ask me, you can leave them in the description box, and I do a Q&A video at the end of every month. So on the last day of every month is when this video is going to be released, and I would love to know any questions that you have, so make sure you leave them in the comments. Now, on to question 1. The first question that I got was as soon as I posted last month's Q&A, was would I consider doing a live or a Zoom meeting with some of my subscribers? And of course the answer is yes. I want to definitely think about that, but I know that there's some logistical things that I need to work out as far as my equipment, making sure that I have everything in order. But that is going to be something that I'm looking into for the very near future. I will let you know ahead of time so that you can prepare for that and that you can join me on a live. What I'd love for you to do in the comments, if you can think of something that you would like for me to teach, or you'd like to discuss, or anything that you would be interested in a live video, I would love to see your suggestions, and we can go from there to see how we can work together to make a live meetup a success. Question number 2. I got a question about how to decide a quilting pattern. The person said that they do very simple quilting, and I think that that is wonderful and perfect. If you do a stitch in the ditch, if you do straight line quilting, I think that's wonderful for quilts. You don't have to be super fancy unless you really, really want to. But really, in my opinion, that question, it would take a little bit more detail to answer. And so I would love to answer that in a future video. I will right now, though, give some suggestions about people to watch if you have questions about quilting patterns, especially with free motion. 2 people that I've been watching are Leah Day and Angela Walters. Those are 2 that when I first started free motion quilting, I learned a lot from their channels. So I definitely would recommend them. Another person that I would recommend is a new person, but her quilting to me is very excellent, and that is the Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda channel. So I'd love for you to check her out. If you get a chance to check out that channel, please let her know in the description that I sent you to her channel. I think that what she does with her sewing machine is really great as far as quilting goes, and she has a lot of different techniques that she shows. And I know that she's getting ready to do a quilt-along starting in December, so I'm excited for that. And hopefully you'll get to check out that channel. It's called Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. Now for question 3. This question was kind of a joke, but I'm going to put it in here anyway. They asked, what do I do in my spare time? And so I want to just go over some things that I do in my spare time. As you guys know, I am a mom. My kids play sports, so I do go to sporting events and watch my children from time to time. I have also a really big passion for music. My day job is a music teacher. In my spare time, I like to say I teach music in my spare time, but that's not really accurate. But I also play the piano, I play the guitar, and I've started very recently writing music. So that is, if I were to consider it spare time, that's what I do in my spare time. They also asked about plans or goals for next year, 2022. I am working on some things for next year. I'm still trying to plan out what I want to do, some goals I want to set for 2022. And that's going to be in an upcoming video, so stay tuned to my channel so that you can kind of know where I feel like I'm headed for the next year. You know, you never know ultimately until you get there, but look out for that video. It is coming soon. Also, if there are projects that you're interested in for 2022 that you'd love to see on the channel, I got one amazing suggestion for a quilt-along that I'm really strongly thinking about. So if there's something that you're thinking about that you would like to do, that you'd like for us to do together on my channel, leave it in the comments and I will check it out and let you know. I got a question about where to get the Block a Day book. And so if you've been following my channel for a while, I've done a quilt along from this book, where I picked some patterns in it. It's called Block a Day, 365 Quilting Squares for Patchwork Inspiration. It's written by Lucinda Ganderton. I actually got this book as a gift from one of my students at school. So I don't know where they got it from. I just know that they gave it to me. I have seen it on Amazon, but I'm not sure how you would get it. But I have seen it on Amazon, so you can check there first, and then maybe check some local quilt shops. You might check eBay, see if you can find it there. Again, I got it as a gift, so I'm very grateful because this is a book that I've gotten a lot of use out of, even over the last year. And I would recommend it because it has a lot of quilting designs and some pretty good instructions for ways to quilt these blocks or to create these blocks. Okay, I got a question about some sizes for some quilt blocks. Now, I'm doing currently a Starlight Starbrite quilt along. This is a monthly block, a block per month that we're doing each month. And so far we've done 2 blocks. We've done the Friendship Star and we've done the Freewheeling Star. I got a question about the block size for the Freewheeling Star. I'm actually doing these blocks in 2 colorways. This is my practice block in red and black and gray. And then this is the block that I'm using for my videos. So this one is in the blues. So all of my video blocks are going to be in the blues. My practice block is going to be in red, black, and gray. As far as the sizes for these blocks, the half square triangles start with 6-inch squares, 1 6-inch square background, 1 6-inch square of the color fabric, and then that's not right. Each half square triangle, it takes 2 squares and it gives you the 4 blocks. And then for this block it has 5 5.5-inch squares. Those are the solid squares. So let me say that again. For the half square triangles, you're going to need 2 each of the color squares and 2 each of the background squares, both of those at 6 inches. And then there's another solid square, and those squares are 5.5 inches. Our next block that we're going to be looking at has like some quarter square triangles, so the measurements will be a little bit different. Can't wait to share that with you on the 10th of this month. It's coming out. So be ready for that. I'm going to start hopefully working on the block very soon. Now, my next question is, this is about the Starlight Starbrite quilt along. Someone suggested that I add a coloring page to the downloads. So, I left my coloring pages upstairs. But for each of the blocks, I am making a little color diagram. I'm coloring it myself so that I can kind of have an idea about the colorway that I want to use. And so they suggested that I add that to the downloads. I think that's a great idea. I will look into it as I get ready for this next, the next block. It's called the Ribbon Star, or Ribbon Tail Star. Ribbon Tail Star. So I'll look into that for the next block so that you have a couple of sample blocks that you can kind of draw or color into to get some color inspiration. Okay, I'll do that. Thank you so much for that suggestion. Next question, it's about these practice blocks. These are blocks that I'm using to practice for my commission quilt, and I'm using these as my practice for free motion before I free motion quilt on that commission quilt. And so someone asked if I'm going to put these in a quilt. And so these are already, they're quilt-as-you-go, so the backing is already on it, and I've already quilted through it. And the answer to that is yes, I am going to put all of these in a block. I'm going to do a tutorial about joining quilt-as-you-go blocks without sashing. And so that's why I'm making these, so that I can show you how to join these blocks together without having to put a strip of fabric in between for a sashing. Okay, so that is coming up soon. I have 6 of these blocks done. I'm going to make 12, I think, before I put everything together. That's not in stone, but I think that's where we're going to start, with 12 blocks for this quilt. Okay, next question. Let's see. Oh, the next question is about Fifi Fox. Let me grab Fifi. This is a pattern from the Funky Friends factory. I have a couple of videos that I made for this where I put this fox together. And the question was, how tall is she? According to the pattern, she sits about 12.5 inches tall, but she is sitting back on her hind legs. I'm still in the process of stuffing this fox. Hopefully I'll be done with it very soon, but it is the holiday season, and so I'm really stuffing bears more than I'm stuffing this fox. But again, 12.5 inches tall for Fifi. Here we go. Next question. Someone asked about the brand of thread that I use, so I'm going to show you that right quick. I typically, for my piecing and quilting, I use this Coats & Clark thread. I actually picked this up from Joann's. It is, let's see, it says machine quilting thread. I'm looking to see what it's, and it says 100% cotton. And I get this from Joann's. Usually I wait till they have like buy one get 3 free or whatever, so that I can get 2 for free. And it is, let's see how many yards it is, 1,200 yards, and so it lasts a pretty good amount of time. I prefer to use for my piecing, I use the light gray, which is here, and I use the dark gray depending on what color the fabric is, but these are my 2 staples to use grays. And then for my quilting, I have a variety of different colors that I use. This blue, I know I used it for quilting, and then just depending on what I need, I will grab some more thread. And they also have it in solids, they have it variegated, so for the quilting there's lots of different options. But this is my primary. This is the Coats & Clark too, but it's obviously a lot less. This one is closer to the full spool. Okay, so that's what I use, the Coats & Clark machine quilting thread. And there's one more question. It's about the shirts that I'm using for this Christmas memory quilt. She asked what I use to back it, and I've backed this piece right here. I don't know how well you can see it. Oh, but I've also backed the t-shirt there, so you can see the white there. And what I use to back these is the Pellon. Wait, let me grab it. Okay, let's see what it is. I use the Pellon SK135. It has a little pink bolt, and it says white sheer knit fusible. So this is what I use. It is very thin, but it's a really good stabilizer. So I use it for I'm using it for the shirts for this quilt. I use it for my bears, to stabilize the fabric for my bears. And it's really, I just like it. It's easy to work with now that I've followed the directions. Easy to work with, and it doesn't make your fabrics really stiff. Okay, and then the bonus of it is that there's so much extra paper that I can use it to make these strips, the Pellon strips. So this is what I'm using to back it. The trash from my interfacing. Okay, and there was another question, but it was about the goals for next year, and I've already answered that, so I don't have to answer that one again. As a quick reminder, if you have questions that you want me to answer as a part of the Q&A, leave them in the comments, and throughout the month I will list all of those questions, and I will add them and answer them on the last day of the month. So if you have any questions about what you've seen, leave it in the comments. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.